Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for staying with us. Well, in the last segment, we learned about the effort underway to keep visitors and conventions coming to the Truckee Meadows. So can the smaller, more remote parts of Nevada get a share of the pie? And how badly do they need it? Claudia Vecchio, the director of the Nevada Department of Tourism, is here now to talk about that. Claudia, once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, when we think about tourism to Nevada, I think probably most people automatically think Las Vegas. Maybe some people will think the Reno-Tahoe area. But there's been this push to get more visitors out to the rural areas. Is that a hard sell?
It's becoming an increasingly easy sell, actually. And the reason is, part of the things you talked about in the last segment were the millennials and this younger group of people. And they love rural Nevada. And it's, with our Don't Fence Me In brand, that really is beautifully illustrated in rural Nevada. People just want to get out and experience the wide open spaces, these authentic small towns, and just the wonderful warmth and characters that you meet while you're out in Nevada. So it's a wonderful product for us to promote both domestically and internationally. And really the international visitors are particularly interested in getting out and seeing that real America. And that's where you find it, is in rural Nevada.
So what international visitors, what countries are most interested in this experience?
The ones that are really interested, I love the Australians, because the Australians, just as a group of people, and I'm using some stereotypes here, but they're fun and they're just, they kind of live life to the fullest, and they take the bull by the reins, and they will go out into rural Nevada as wonderful adventurers. So I love talking to Australians because they have the outback and they have some of the same things we have, so it's a very familiar experience for them. They love it.
That's what I was going to say. I'm kind of surprised because they actually do have more wide open space. I would expect a country that's more densely populated, bigger cities, maybe they don't have these beautiful vistas that we see in rural Nevada.
Well, then that's the other group. The Chinese love it too, because first of all, we have beautiful blue skies and sunshine, which they rarely see in Beijing or Shanghai.
Clean air.
Clean air, which they love. But I love bringing them out there because their mouths just drop when they see Lake Tahoe. Or they get out into the Western culture, and they see real cowboys. And we take them to Elko, and they really get to feel that American spirit, and the Asians love that. So whether it's the Chinese or the Japanese, or we have a growing group of South Koreans who are coming to Nevada, that's a wonderful experience for them.
Is it a difficulty figuring out how to get them there? Because it's a huge state. Nevada's a huge state. Yes. Driving to Elko, there's not really an easy way to get there via plane. So are you having to package like transportation options, or is this a car rental thing? How do you do it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because obviously there are no direct flights from an international destination to northern Nevada. There are lots to Las Vegas. But for the Chinese, for example, for the Australians, they'll come into either Los Angeles or San Francisco, and then it is absolutely our responsibility to put together this experience or this package that includes, lots of them will rent a car in either one of those gateway cities, and even the Chinese, who you would think, gosh, they don't know the language, but they are ever more becoming individual travelers. And so we need to put together the itineraries and work with the tour operators and the travel agents and those that they can talk with in their countries. So when they get here, they feel, they know exactly where they're going, and they know why they're going to Elko. They rarely get here and just come without a trip, or come, just to adventure. So they definitely come with a pre-planned itinerary.
Well, as you'd imagine. It would be very hard to show up in a place where you aren't familiar with the culture and the language, and have to just, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. But obviously Nevada, we have good highway system for the most part, and so it's a great place for people to spend a few days. Lots of times they'll be going through Nevada to get to Yellowstone or to some of the big national parks, which is a huge draw right now for domestic and international visitors in southern Utah or up in Wyoming. And we need to capture them and help them understand why Nevada is such a compelling destination and why they want to spend more time here.
Why specifically the rurals? Why is it important to get people out to there?
Yeah, I think the tremendous economic impact of tourism on rural communities cannot be underestimated. There are communities across the country that, you talked a little bit about the recession last time, that we've had more than one recession. So in historical recessions have faltered, and tourism has really been the key to bringing them out of that recessionary time. So the way we can help them understand how to package and how to create experiences that are authentic to that place. So the experience in Eureka is going to be different from the experience in Ely, will be different from the experience in Mesquite, but that's really what people are looking for. They're looking for these wonderful small towns that really create a sense of that place through the arts, through the events. Special events are hugely important out there. And the other activities that they can build an experience around, historic, the train up in Ely is a wonderful experience. But people are really looking for that, and it's our job to help them understand what's there. And that's the great joy of what we get to do at the Division of Tourism, is we get to educate and surprise people.
And also give them grants.
And also give them grants.
We got, $900,000 of grants that have been given out to various rural projects, which I imagine they're very excited about.
They are. We actually have $1.4 million a year that we provide in rural grants, and these are matching grants. So for every dollar we give, we expect $1 in return, either by financially, they give us back $1, or by volunteer hours, because there are hundreds of thousands of volunteer hours that go into rural tourism each year. So they can match the grant with that way too. So we have 2 cycles every year, one that starts at the beginning of the fiscal year, so we just made that. Those awards the 1st of July, and then one again, kind of the second part of the year in December. And this is the larger chunk of the 2 chunks we give out at this time of the year. These are, generally speaking, the bigger projects. And then there's a great opportunity for communities to kind of be opportunistic in the middle of the year, and then we give out somewhere $500,000 or $600,000 then.
Now, a lot of the projects that they're funding are marketing and ad campaigns, kind of awareness of that. Is there a quantifiable return on that kind of investment? I mean, do people really react as they see the TV ad in another city or state or country and go, yeah, I really want to go there?
Yes. So we do an economic impact study every 2 years, and we have a company, Dean Runyon and Associates, that does this for destinations across the country. And they come in and they do quantify the economic impact of rural tourism and tourists into those areas. Now, each of these projects, it's kind of commensurate on those destinations to measure them. We measure more the total visitation or the total economic impact given in a given year. But for example, if a community does a specific tour, or if they do a specific, they want to do a website, it's kind of their piece to quantify that component, and then we'll do the totality of the grants. There is a tremendous return on investment for those grants. We wouldn't do it if there wasn't, and so it's almost the greater value of these grants is the partnership that they get with us, the fact that they get to do projects that they wouldn't otherwise get to do, and really the extension of the Nevada brand and the "Don't Fence Me In" spirit, and they all need to include that in their marketing efforts. So it's a wonderful way for us to really build the understanding of that Nevada brand.
Now, looking a little more broadly at Nevada in general, I know tourism numbers have been up, which is great news. Yep. Year over year, they've been improved in almost every category, which is great. So what does the future of the tourism industry look like here? Is it a completely different type of tourist coming, or is it going to be smatterings of the same types we've seen?
Well, interesting. So obviously, we as tourism marketers look to the future, and we look at millennials, and we look at even the group beyond that, and we start to track their consumer behavior at a very young age. And we don't track that through tourism. We look at other things like consumer products and electronics and how they're purchasing these other kinds of things for us to better understand who they are as consumers, and then we can start to track how they're traveling. So we're always looking at the next generation and how they're behaving, but we don't want to divorce ourselves from the boomers and the others who have our bread and butter. So there's always a fine balance in how we message the state, and the wonderful thing about marketing today is that we can be very targeted. Through social media, we're targeting a particular group. Through television, we're targeting a particular group. Through digital advertising, so we can be very specific in the way we reach out to people and the messages that compel them to come here.
And you mentioned millennials; they're kind of a big fish now. Is there any specific way you're targeting them? Absolutely. So millennials are an interesting group, and they are,
at that age, obviously, very adventure oriented. So we talk a lot about what these adventures mean to them. They're a fairly self-absorbed group, as you often are at that age. But so it's really about the way that a visit to Nevada can change them, the way it can help them change the world. They're very much give back group. So we're going to be doing more promotions in the future that are allowing them to shape their world and allowing them to shape their experience in Nevada and give back to the state, whether it be through planting trees is a bad example, but doing something so that they have a lasting impact on Nevada. They love that. So, and then earlier you talked about the craft beers and about the things that are available in the urban destination. So what we love to do is to really craft this hub and spoke experience so that they can come in and go to the restaurants and the wonderful food scene here and in Las Vegas, and then go out and have those adventures in rural Nevada. It's that kind of experiential merit badge that these millennials are looking for.
Very interesting. Okay, we only have about a minute left, but real quick, are we staying with Nevada, a world within, a state apart, or are we going to get a different campaign coming our way?
Now, that's here to stay for the foreseeable future. It really does lay a great foundation for the tourism brand, which is Don't Fence Me In, and it's the language of this incredible maverick, wonderfully sort of bodacious state that gets out and lives life to the fullest, and that really was what that statewide brand is, and our tourism brand as well.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love the Don't Fence Me In.
That's great.
It's a great song. It's catchy.
It is. It's very catchy. Glad you like it.
Yeah, all right, Claudia, thank you so much for your time.
you.
I really do appreciate it. Well, that is it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information on all of this or to see past episodes, just head to our website. That's ktvn.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.